All righty, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order, the November 26, 2013, at 7:04. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson.
Here.
Ms. Gerber.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Ms. Krafka.
Here.
Ms. Elliott.
Here.
We have 5 present. We have a quorum.
We can stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. We will go ahead at this time. We've got previous meeting minutes from October 16th special meeting. Everyone look that over. If there's no corrections, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
Next set of minutes is November 12th, 2013.
Those say special session stuff.
Nope.
We did, didn't we? There's 2 corrections there. One says special session. The other one, it's got the approval of the minutes October 16th, which we just approved those.
I think there were updates to it.
Yeah, it was
This time.
It was an update.
Oh, this time was an update,
There's
so we had to reapprove them. So I think that's still right. Yep. Right?
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve as amended.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion. I have a second to approve as amended. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
I do not have a copy of the bills. Does everybody else have a copy? I got it, thanks. Once everybody's had a chance to look over those, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we pay the bills.
I have a motion to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson. Yay. Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Police Chief's report. Mr. David Friend, please.
Council, Mayor,
Gina?
some of the things we had, I guess we all weathered the tornado-like conditions for minimal damage, although there were power outages in Sedona Ridge, and alarms going off everywhere. We seem to keep a lid on that. Several thefts of private property. several thefts and Kroger's and private property accidents. As a matter of fact, on our mayor's court yesterday, we had, the first hour was dedicated to the thefts that went on in Kroger's. So we've been having a lot of response out there to Kroger's. From that, one of the shoplifters had a 12-inch knife on him, concealed. So there are weapons out there too, just like everywhere else it could be. We had a truck in the house last night at 24 West Main Street, and I believe it was a medical issue. I think he passed out, and when he did so, he stepped on the gas and went up and hit that house on the, I believe would be the southwest corner of Main line. He was up on the, and that goes uphill, so you know he's accelerating at the time. He was taken in a squad, be medically checked out. We had a money forfeiture. This was in the latter part of 2011. It was money forfeiture from a drug dealer. We got forfeited to the police department $4,853. We also got forfeited was a 2002 Mitsubishi Domani, which is the Kelly Move Book value of that is around $3,200. The disposition of the car is not yet determined, and then he has to be sentenced before that's even let go or retitled to the village to do with it what we're going to be doing with it. This time of year, there's two things that you can count on: domestics and theft, as far as Christmas goes. So I want to relay, especially the theft part. You know, keep your doors locked, keep your houses locked. Keep an eye on your Christmas tree lights. For some reason, they like to cut those. I don't know why, but they do. And your ornaments, especially antique ornaments that's out there. So just kind of try to keep an eye out. We'll be in the neighborhoods as much as possible, watching for you. Administratively, Officer Wilmuth just about done with his FTO program. He was an officer before, and it seems to go a lot faster when that happens. He's doing real well. So he's going to be turned out by himself here soon. We're getting ready for Christmas, for the Christmas parade, which will be going the opposite direction this time. I think probably somebody will have comments at the end about that. Where the officers are all set. We got our additional officers from Bethel and Pierce lined up also for that. The thing I want to bring to your attention, because it is November, and I was told to maybe put together a wish list, but one thing we desperately need, and that's radios. Communications is, you know, one of the biggest part about police work. We've got 3 radios that we use now that's on their last leg. The reason we need new radios anyway, because they're going to change to a narrow band. So we're going to need new radios and upcoming anyway. I do have a quote from MobileCon, which is, this is who fixed our radios before. Even the radios we have now, they won't fix them anymore because they're out of date so much. We had, the last time we fixed the radio, we had to put 2 working radios in so we could get 1 radio out of that. So we got 3 left. And the toggle switches on that, you have to hold them just right, and you know, it's just no good as far as safety goes. The prices on the radios, I think I told you, Mayor, it's going to be around $4,000, but it's actually $3,300 per radio. And if we commit to buying these before December's up, you get $450 rebate, or they'll knock off $450 per radio. I suggest we get 5 radios, because this is probably, as far as radios go, they're expensive, and this is pretty good. So if you're talking about 5 radios at $3,300, that's $16,500. But if you take off the $2,250 for the $450 per radio allowance, you're going to have $14,250. But you probably have to make a decision there before December, because you're going to have to get them anyway. In November of 2014, everything's going to be changed. So our radios, what we have of them, will be almost useless. And that's going to be countywide. This is what's going to happen. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's going to have to happen. So this is our opportunity to get them at a decent, more decent rate than if we would wait until, say, the latter half of 2014. We're pretty healthy, you know, going into the next year, we have over $300,000, and I think probably is a good time to, you know, to do that. That's one thing. So I didn't know if you wanted to ask any questions on that. Yes.
Will they work now, or do you wait until the
Once they
system
get
goes-
programmed, they can work now.
So they will work
in-
now
in
and
conjunction.
with the new system
Mhm.
as it comes
To
out?
program them, they're $74, right? So these radios will work in conjunction with what we have now. Matter of fact, the sheriff's office already tested 3 of them. They got 3 of them to use and test and stuff. So it passed the test, and they're regular Motorola radios, they're good radios. But when it comes time to programming them, it's another like $68 per radio. So that even though we have to get them programmed for 74 and reprogrammed for 68, the 450 that you would save, you know, yeah. So that's kind of where we are with that.
So
And
Chief, if you buy these, then will they come programmed, or you still have to?
we have to get a program
You
at
still have
a
to
rate
get a
of,
program.
I believe it's $68 the first time, $68 per radio.
Now, is this kind of a standard radio that
This is the-
multiple
Yeah, this,
jurisdictions will be using?
yes, this is the radio that's going to be used by the comm center in Batavia, which is the backbone of all the radios, UT and everything. So these are the 6000 XEs radios. They look a little different than what we have. Basically, they kind of look the same. But they're that narrow width. I guess you have to think about that too, Mr. Gary? Okay. So we've been talking this in Chiefs meetings for quite some time, and matter of fact, they extended this price through December because they know that municipalities have a hard time getting on the council and all that stuff. So they did extend that to this next month.
Chief, does it do anything with the issue with talking within the school at all?
I'm not sure exactly if that's gonna help that. I can't say for sure about
Okay.
that ban.
Okay.
I don't know about that. It'd be nice if it did.
It would be really nice, yeah.
Instead of standing in the place you can talk is in the front part of the school.
Yeah.
Or if you step outside one of the side doors or something.
Mhm.
Hopefully, maybe they would be a little better. And it's not that I can't hear my radio in the school, you just can't get it out.
Mhm.
Your modulation can't get out of the waves.
Mayor,
Yes.
I have a question for the chief. Is the price they're offering just their price, or is it state contract?
No, this is state contract. There is no lower, thanks Kevin, there is no lower price. This is the state bid and Mobilecom's got it. So that's state bid, and they're in Fairfield. And we've been using those for other radios too.
They have a lot of service trucks too, don't they?
Yeah, service trucks, and, they're everything, yeah. I think last time I was there, they had like, I don't know how many police cars in there and other trucks and stuff, so they're pretty well known.
Now, is that like a trade-in of the old radios, or just the $400 and something credit?
Just the $450, no trade-in. And we can use ours, they'll program like ours, and we can use ours until that, that deadline there, November the 14th. We'll have 3 radios, because sometimes, believe it or not, we do, and I assume that in years from now, we're gonna have, and these have over a 10-year life. These radios is what they say. Kind of like the old ones. We'll have 3 and an extra couple, because I think Linda uses 1 too, and up there, and Forrest and things like that. So, and then we'll have an extra 1 too.
Does that, each one include chargers, batteries,
The
extra batteries?
They'll have the 1 battery with it, and the charger, I still have to think as far as matches those. I talked to Jeff about that, he doesn't really know, but I don't know if there's some sort of adjuster that you can get to put in our wall charger now, but we may need a wall charger like we have now. I would like to have that instead of individual wall chargers. I'd like to have that, but it does not come with a charger. These radios are kind of, if you buy one thing, you have to just, every piece is different. So they come with the radio and the mic at that price.
So we
No
don't
charger.
have any kind of idea what a charger costs, or we don't?
No, but I assume that a wall charger like that isn't, I don't think it's much of a big deal, a charger is. Not like the radio itself, there's where all your costs are.
Would you need to get a couple extra batteries as well?
Yeah, well, we do have extra batteries there. Probably the batteries, we could buy, not from Mobilecom, but I think we could probably buy those. And we have bought extra batteries for $60 a piece or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got some batteries, because our batteries are worn out too, kind of soon after I got here, so we had to buy like 6 of them or something.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff found them for like, off of Amazon for like that price. Maybe not even that price, maybe 40 or something. So,
Well, I would say it's something we need to do. It's just like to have the complete package, so
Yeah.
if you can get the charger
Sure.
put into the package and the extra batteries, and
Oh,
that way we can do it all at once.
I'll go ahead and get that price rounded up, so you'll have the price for that.
Okay.
Everybody else comfortable with that? Okay.
Is there any value to the old ones, or do they just get trashed?
Yeah, since they don't work on them anymore or anything else. And
Like buying a big giant TV that
Yeah.
you see sitting outside.
And the wavelength is not gonna be there. We do have, the option of using them until like November 14th, but, up until then after that, we don't. But I'm telling you, there's radio, a lot of times they're digital, you have to move this a little bit for them to copy you. It's just an unsafe situation right there. It really is.
What's our deadline date?
I mean, these guys even know what radios they have from how they act. If we want to take advantage of the $450 off, we have, I believe it's through December. So anytime during the month of December, we can order those.
Okay.
Probably before Christmas, I would think.
Would these new ones work with the speaker that goes on the shoulder, or would those have to be purchased also to fit
No,
this?
I believe that comes with, but I'll find out for sure. I believe that comes with them, at least it has in the picture here. I'll have to find out about that, because we'll need one of those lapel mics.
All right, get us a total price for the whole package and bring it to the next council meeting, Chief.
Got it. And that's all I have, unless somebody else has anything.
I did, we had talked about possibly getting another vest for Mr. Matulowicz. Do we want to still do that?
Yeah, if you would want to go ahead and do that, I would recommend that. Mike's been using his own that he got. He had a relatively new one when he got here, but it's apparently it's doing something. He doesn't like rolling up or something, I don't know, but we never did supply him with one. Though, now, we did get those new vests off the grant, and Officer Barkley and Officer Wormuth is using those, that Braden had, and I believe it was Mahan had. So those fit those guys, which is great, but we're short now, and those cost about $740 down at Roy Taylor's to get one exactly like we have, all the other guys have.
So, council would so like to go ahead and do that.
We make a motion, we go ahead and purchase the vest.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson?
Yay.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yeah.
Ms. Krafka?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right.
I believe it's $740. What's the last one?
Thank you, David. Fire Chief, what you got for us, sir?
I'm up.
You're up.
Mr. Mayor, council members, good evening. Gary Offord representing Union Township Fire Department. Before I start, I want to let everybody know that Assistant Chief Jeff Jackson is retired. He regularly attended the meetings here representing the fire department. He will be, I hate to say replaced, but Lieutenant Mark Fife has been promoted and will assume his duties and responsibilities. So at some point in time, I'm sure he will be up here and before you all, and so he will be assuming Chief Jackson's responsibilities. I'll also let you know, and I think I talked to you, Mayor, ahead of time. I did send an invitation to fire departments in Claremont County, invited them to the Amelia Christmas Parade on behalf of you all. So we'll see how many people we have. We did that last year also. So we'll see how that works out. We will also be attending. The monthly report for the month of October from the fire department, we had 45 total EMS incidents. Of the EMS incidents, 26 were during the day, 19 at night. We transported 31 people. 13 people were not transported. 12 of those people who were transported went to Claremont Mercy, 19 went to Mercy Anderson Hospital. And our average response time for EMS runs was 5 minutes 42 seconds. For fire response was 4 minutes 15 seconds. Fire incidents totaled 6 for a total of 51 responses here in the area. Also, I assume you all have copies of the comparison that I did, and that was at Mayor, your request from I think the last meeting. I can tell you that the numbers here may differ from what was previously reported. In doing this, I took a look at some of the times, and some non-emergency times snuck into those numbers. So these are corrected here, and these would be correct numbers here as far as emergency responses. If anybody has any questions about that? Any other questions? I guess that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now, you do know, just for your general information, in December, our meetings will be moved to the 17th,
Yes, sir.
24th, so kind of give you a heads up.
Thank you.
You gonna be at the parade?
I should be.
All right. Recreation and committee report.
The Merry Christmas Parade is going to be Sunday, December 8th, at 2 o'clock. Parade's going to be going the opposite direction this year. We'll be heading west on 125 from the old Kroger up by Walmart, heading to our new Amelia Kroger. Going to be doing our tree lighting Friday, December 6th at the Morris House. That's at 7 o'clock. That's our first official tree lighting. And our decorating contest, we'll be doing that again this year. And those will be, the winners will be announced in our first meeting in January, whatever that is. What else here? Also be decorating the welcome garden as you come into the village there. And Home Depot donated a live cut tree for us to decorate up there. I had picked up a 12-foot artificial tree I had some hope for up there, and ended up being a big dud, so we're going to use it elsewhere. So Home Depot was gracious enough to step in and donate what was that thing, 12, 14 feet tall?
About 12-footer.
Yeah. So we'll be decorating that and other things out there. And that's all I got.
You want to touch a little bit on the decorations on Amelia Rec?
Oh, yeah, we put out a request for decorations, lights, wreaths to decorate the welcome garden as well as the Morris House, and we've had quite a few people make donations, picking up lights from Home Depot, since the Home Depot has given so much to us for our Veterans Memorial. We've asked for folks to, whatever they want to donate, to purchase those from Home Depot. We've had quite a few donations come through, so we thank everybody for that.
Will you be doing a best Christmas decorated yard this year?
Yeah, we'll have a first, second, and third place like we did last year.
Okay.
So the judging on that will be done sometime towards the end of December. Winners announced at our January meeting. I don't have that date in front of me. That's all I've got.
Okay. Kevin's looking at that date.
14th would be the first week in January.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. All right, is that it?
You done?
I am done.
He's done.
All right. Miss Danny with the zoning report.
Anything else on there? You have my report in writing. Permits, we've only issued 9 this month of October, so it's been sort of light. And regulations have been sort of light also. We've had about 20. Most of those are closed. The few that are open are, still have December dates to comply. So as I've been driving around, I'm noticing that we are seeing house numbers out on the houses. We still have sort of about a 50-50 proposition. So we'll ask people to still put their numbers on the house facing the street, at least 3 inches in height. That's about all I really have. I didn't put on my report, and I forgot to say, I did attend the Armagh County Stormwater meeting, which was interesting. But, we did talk, there was a presentation from Strand Company, Strand and something, about, water retention and stuff like that, and we talked about, actually John McManus brought up Community Village and the retention pond at Shank Park and what they could be doing for us there. So maybe towards spring we'll maybe talk with this company about what we'd like to do with that area. Very interesting concept that they have.
I know we had some folks come from up in Columbus to look at the retention basin. They did some preliminary surveys on it. They believe it won't hold water. We would have to put some type of a liner in there if we were gonna do a pond or a lake. So then they gave the second option, which would be some type of a verandering type creek, park type environment where you may put a walking bridge, you may put some stations to identify different plants that would be planted in it. And they had some pretty neat ideas, so.
Yeah, very interesting. So we'll look into that come first of the year and maybe, sit down with them and then maybe start, getting the project together by spring, maybe looking at some grants, things like that too for this. But that's all I have.
One other thing, we met with Carl Lamping over the stormwater for the, we have to do a permit every year, and we have to fill that permit out and send it in. The county's now looking to offer a service, which they've done in the past,
to where they would take over all our regulations and all our stormwater issues and fill all our permits out for the EPA. And with all the building that we're having coming now with the retention basins that are going in, sometimes you always have to have an engineer do a whole lot of hydraulic problems and all that on it. So if we were to turn it over and let the county do that, it would be at no charge to us. They would get the permit fees, which we don't charge permit fees anyway. And then they would do all the regulations, they would do all the, if somebody had to come out and do the inspections, they would do those things too. So I'll be bringing that up in a future meeting after the county gets all there.
They're looking at the first of the year, trying to get everybody.
They get their
on board.
contracts together. They already are on board. There's several entities already on board with them, so. Just one less thing we would have to worry about if the EPA would do an audit.
Thank you.
Next order of business is legislation. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor. If there's anyone here, we're doing legislation. The first piece of legislation is the adopting Chapter 155 on the rental dwelling registration. So if there's anyone here who'd like to speak on the rental registration.
Me. Can I come up here?
Sure. If you could just state your name for Kevin and.
My name's John Troutman. I'm a realtor and a property owner. And as soon as I saw the article in the paper, I had some concerns, and I did write a letter to the mayor, and I expressed my concerns with a little bit of a terse letter, but it was a letter nonetheless. And it raised a lot of questions and a lot of, so I've got some what I think are common sense kind of questions to ask first, and I don't know if I should ask Danny or the council, but about, on an average, how many citations for zoning violations relative to rental properties are issued a year? Does anybody have that?
Danny could probably answer that
Number?
question better.
I'd have to look at go through all my violations. It would probably be 50%.
So what's 50%? What is that number? 50% of what number?
Well, I couldn't tell you how many violations I wrote without any, getting all that documentation. You need hard numbers, I don't have to get that to you later.
Okay. And of those violations, how many of the rental owners could not be reached? I mean, how many could you not contact by virtue of mail?
Several. Again, those aren't actual, I can't give you an actual hard number, but there were several that I could not reach because, mail was returned or whatever, but there was just no, either the owners have moved or no forwarding address. So,
And would you venture to say that most of those people that own properties are not village residents?
I have no way of knowing that for sure. Yeah.
Can you give me an idea of what the nature of the violations are? Are they just mostly trash and that kind of thing?
Well, they would be, but some of that now, since we have property maintenance code, that we're gonna have some property maintenance issues.
Okay.
It probably would have been helpful, actually, if we'd had, a little more information before this meeting. We held 4 public hearings, but then she would have been able to get those numbers for you, so.
Well, I mean, I would, personally would think that the council would want to know those answers or those questions. Just because of the nature of the new ordinances that you're proposing. I would think that you would want to know those questions.
Again, I couldn't give you actual numbers, but I know, like I say, with the public hearings we've had, some of those questions were asked. Never gave definite numbers, but some of those questions were already asked.
So you really don't know how many rental units are in the village? You don't have an aggregate number of how many rental units are in?
I'm working on it now. I have about 8 pages so far, and that's just on Main Street.
Are those rental properties or separate rental owners?
Those are properties that are rented or not owned by the person who lives there.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Now, is each property owner gonna be required to register regardless of how many properties he owns? I mean, is each property gonna have to be required to register?
If he has several properties in the village, then he'll list that and we'll have each property on that rental owner.
And each property will be required to pay the fee?
Correct.
Okay. Well, it just seems like this ordinance, you know, there's a lot of questions to be solved, but, and I mentioned to you that you may have more violations of people signing up for this registration than you have zoning ordinance violations. You may have more, might spend more time chasing people for fees and delinquent fees than you will have chasing violations. That could very well happen without knowing these numbers, you know, and if you've got that many properties, you might just be chasing your tail and costing taxpayers a lot of money. Is Danny full-time? I mean, is she?
Danny's part-time, and part of the problem right now is every time we send a registered letter out to these rental owners and it comes back because the address isn't known, we pay for that. So we've already got a ton of money because we don't have a register. If we have a register, then we know exactly where to send it to, so these letters don't bounce back to us. But if not, I think, what is a registered letter we send?
$6.35.
So every time we send that, it bounces back, which it does quite a bit. You're already in the $6.75, not including her time. So once we get this established and get this rental agreement and get people to register, then that'll stop that.
How does the county auditor contact people with tax bills and water bills?
I don't deal with those people, so I don't know.
Well, anybody can go online and pull up the county auditor's card and put in an address, and it gives you the address and name of the owner.
And they're about 6 months behind, at least.
There's 6 months, there are 6 months in arrears but it's doable. I mean, it's not like it's not of record.
And this, you know, this isn't something new. I mean, this is done in other places in Ohio, so it's not like we're venturing out and doing anything. You know, we're not the front runners on this project at all. There's a whole bunch of other communities that do it.
Well, the city of Parma Heights, you know, I kinda like their form, because it has on the owner's name, address, the rental property address, email addresses, emergency contact number, if other than the owner themselves,
What are their-
local
What are
contact,
their fees?
$100 a year.
Is that per property, or is that the penalty fee?
No, this one,
Is that the one? I think one of them is every year.
one of them is over that for every year. A lot of them are $40. They even have a vacant property registry fee of $100 per year per structure. Rental registration fee is 40 years per year per unit. Multi-units are $40 for the first unit and $25 each additional unit per year in that structure.
It's exorbitant. It's
Yeah.
absolutely exorbitant.
And we're not trying, you know, we're doing a 25, 50, and 75,
It
and
just,
that's a one-time fee. That's enough to cover the paperwork, get it on file, and then it will cover anytime there's a transfer of ownership. They'll have to re-register. But, you know, that's the thing we want to establish. We want to try and take up the amount of time that she has to put into getting the database going, and that fee we feel is reasonable in order to do that.
And you don't feel that there's that many rental units, you're gonna be spending more time trying to acquire fees and chasing penalties than you are gonna be taking care of zoning ordinance matters.
Anytime you start something new, it takes a little bit of time, but once it's in place, then it'll be smooth and make it a lot more easy.
Well, I just,
Otherwise, we're always gonna fight this, always.
well, again, I refer back to the county auditor's site, who clearly states the name and address of owners, even if it's I would debate the 6 months. They have to record the transfer of title as soon as possible. It could be as long as 6 months, but in this market, it's not 6 months. They record that stuff within 60 days. But and I'm sure she's gonna have to go full-time with this issue. I mean, is that something you're prepared to do? She can't handle all this.
Danny does a wonderful job, and I have full confidence in her, she'll be able to handle this task.
As a part-time person? Let me just ask you this, we had an attorney look at this, and I'm just gonna read. Section 155.05 of the rental registration ordinance states that the zoning inspector shall inspect each registered property on an annual basis. That's enough in itself. Although this inspection provision is located in the property maintenance section of the proposed ordinance, which requires rental property owners to maintain their property in accordance with the exterior property maintenance code, the scope of the inspection is not clearly defined. Is this inspection limited to the exterior of the building and property in accordance with the exterior property maintenance code, or is it the discretion of the zoning inspector? In addition, it is not clear how the inspection requirement will relate to the registration requirement, if at all. For example, is an inspection required before the village will issue a certificate of registration? If a violation of the exterior property maintenance code or other village code is found, would the zoning inspector refuse to issue a certificate of registration? It is unclear what notice, if any, must be given to the owner and tenants of rental property before an inspection. It is also unclear whether the zoning inspector must actually go into the property for the mandatory inspection, or if the exterior inspection could be conducted by looking at the property from the street without any notice. I mean, there's I've got a whole bunch of sheets here that brings up red flags all over the place. I'd be glad to let you guys look at it. From the perspective of the affected property owners and tenants, the poorly defined inspection provision of 115.05 might raise Fourth Amendment concerns. Even the outdoor area of a person's property immediately around the home may be protected by the Fourth Amendment, depending on whether a person has a reasonable expectation of privacy in that area. There may be such an expectation in the area that is very close to the home or shielded from view by the hedges or fences. So, there's like I say, I have probably 12 to 15 questions in here that probably would require a task force or somebody, I don't know if you have a solicitor that would review it, but there's a lot of questions involved with what you're proposing to do, and whether or not you can hold back a registration or certificate. And it even has a provision here where you can keep people from renting their property out. So it has other consequences to what you're doing.
And you're getting that out of this ordinance right here.
I got 6 pages from an attorney.
And did he have a copy of our ordinance we're about to do?
Yes, he did.
Would you like me to address that?
Sure.
But on the other hand, I do question just the pragmatic application of this ordinance in terms of how many property owners you got, how many violations you might have, and how many people may not register their properties. Then you're chasing fees, and you might be chasing 200 or 300 fees. Then you're not doing the job you're supposed to do, which is take care of the zoning ordinances in the village. I just think there's consequences to this, I really do.
Would you like to answer any of this?
I'll answer any questions council has.
Do you feel comfortable with this ordinance?
I am perfectly comfortable with this ordinance.
Anybody have any questions for Julia?
These things I brought up don't have any bearing on this.
No, I drafted the ordinance, I drafted the legislation, and, you know, we've
Do
researched
you,
it.
do you want to
before.
review this and maybe get back to your council before you vote on it?
Who prepared it?
Robinson Cole, their attorneys.
It's up to the mayor if he wants me to review that or not.
I know we've had 4 public hearings, and, you know, to come at this very last meeting, you know, with all these questions, it should have been asked well into this, and I feel very confident with the solicitor.
Well, I just got this. I mean, I only had it, I wasn't able to attend the meeting on the 16th. And to be honest with you, the first I knew about it was when I read this article in the paper about it. And I'm sure that all these out-of-town property owners don't know about it. I'm sure they don't. Have they been notified? Has anybody been written a notification about this zoning ordinances, the people that are affected by it?
They're not a zoning ordinance to start with, and we did advertise in the Claremont Sun our public hearings, yes. And those are our notice requirements that we're required to do. It would be absurd, can't even pronounce that word, for us to notify every single property owner. And as Danny will attest to, and I know from sending public notices, when you send notices of zoning amendments and things like that, you get probably 20% of those back because of their wrong addresses that the county auditor has.
That's a county auditor problem. I think it's a county auditor problem, that's true, but I also know that this doesn't affect all property owners. This is a minority of property owners that are in your village. And it sounds like you're targeting just a minority group of property owners on a zoning ordinance violation or a zoning issue. Why don't you make all the people in the village of Amelia register? Why are you just taking the rental property owners? I question that too.
Rental property
In the
is a
past.
business. It's not a property. So that way it helps us with our business base, basically. That is not a,
Well, you're trying to facilitate an ordinance problem, a zoning ordinance issue.
not necessarily. I'm also trying to find out where these people are. I need to find out, you know, these people are not here in our village a lot of times.
It's an accountability measure.
Well, I can assure you, I mean, you know, I think you're gonna be chasing more fees and more penalties than you're gonna be taking care of ordinances. I can assure you of that. And you know it as well as I do, because most of these people don't know what's going on in the village of Amelia. They have no idea that own property, they just collect fees and do their thing. You know?
It behooves them to know what's going on where they have their business and property, so.
So that seems to be one of the problems, these people, not all of them, because we have good people and you have bad people. They own properties here, they live in another state, they have no idea the windows are broke out, the roof needs repaired, the house is vacant, you know, all they know is the check comes in the mail. And those people, if they want to do business in Amelia, they need to respect everybody in Amelia and make sure their properties maintain, you know, the same status everyone else's
So
properties.
if you give a zoning violation, a lot of times these properties are taken back by the banks.
What we're looking at
Or
right
HUD,
now is
which is
rental
really a problem.
registration.
What's that?
Is rental registration.
Yeah.
Keep bringing these zoning issues up, and it's more of just trying to get these people to register their property so we have a quick and easy access to communicate with them when there is an issue.
Well, you know, I understand what you're saying, but I think that it's, you know, I've seen properties in Amelia, the ones that are really decrepit are ones that are foreclosed upon, that are taken back by the banks, and they're sitting there, several of them right on Main Street. You're never gonna get a response from Wells Fargo in Arizona, or Chase Bank somewhere else. I mean, you're not gonna get a response, it's not gonna make any difference.
Well, we'll take our chance and we send them that letter and we give them plenty of fair warning and then they don't respond and then we start sending the fine to them, then I think they'll notice.
Okay. Okay, well, I think that for the most part, people that own rental property and receive rents, and they take care of their properties, they try to be good citizens. They register with the county auditor by virtue of the deed transfer, they pay their taxes, you know, it's like you're penalizing them for doing exactly what they're supposed to do, and that information is readily available at the county auditor's office.
But when it comes right down to it, they're running a business, basically. I mean, it is a business.
Are you gonna penalize them because it's a business? I mean, isn't that penalizing them because it's a business?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else have any other questions?
Just for information, there is a state law that requires rental property owners to register with the county auditor, and there's very low participation in that because there are no penalties. So even though it is a law, it's not happening without some sort of penalty provision.
And how many of those people are renting them and still taking homestead exemption tax break?
That I don't know the answer to.
All right, I will go ahead and read Amelia Village, Ohio Ordinance O-2013-51, an ordinance adopting Chapter 155 Rental Dwelling Registration of the Codified Ordinances of Amelia Village. At this time, I need a motion. We're going to do just, please. This is our third reading, so I need a motion.
Motion to adopt.
For adoption. So moved. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson,
Yay.
Ms. Elliott,
Yay.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Our next piece of legislation is Amelia Village, Ohio Ordinance O-2013-56. It's an ordinance by the Council of Amelia Village, Ohio, repealing ordinance O-2013-55 and making supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2013 for Amelia Village. This time, I need a motion to suspend the rules for 3 readings on 3 separate dates.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson,
Yay.
Ms. Elliott,
Yay.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
This time, I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell,
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson,
Yay.
Ms. Elliott,
Yay.
Ms. Gerber,
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Our next ordinance, I'm going to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Our waste collection service is up for renewal. This ordinance is basically authorizing us to put out for bids our waste contract. And if anyone would like to have a copy of our waste contract, I've got one here. It pretty much goes in depth on what we're asking for as far as collection. I think we've got just one waste pickup per year, one junk day per year in this.
One junk, it's weekly trash, monthly recycling, once a month, large bulky item, one per household, and then one junk day per year.
Try to get away from the stickers.
Yeah.
So that'll give you that one time a month to put some bulk item out without having to get a sticker.
There might be a sticker program so that you have the right sticker, but you wouldn't be paying for it. We're gonna make that part of the bid. So if you've got.
So your one bulk item is just one bulk item.
Right.
So if I have
like
a,
a couch.
if I have a couch and I stuff it full of other stuff, like an extra mattress and things like
I
that,
think
is
that's
that
what
one
we do.
ballpark?
I would interpret that as two.
So we're basically giving up our extra junk day in exchange for the one bulk item per month.
I mean, we could rewrite the bid packet however you guys want, that's just how I drafted it, if you wanted to go back to 2 junk days or whatever council's
Did
pleasure
you want to
is.
continue to have your fall?
We looked at that one, and to be honest with you, they really didn't, they spent more gas coming out here to pick the stuff up than was actually out there.
Okay.
So that's why we felt, you know, if we do the bulk item and just do the one like we always done in the past. The only thing that's not in this bid package, and I'm not sure how we would look at it, I know we had a couple issue with seniors who absolutely did not want waste pickup. They didn't even generate enough to fill a container up in 6 months. Right now, the way it is, everybody has to have trash service. Don't know if we can put something in there that could exclude a senior. If they could show type of proof where they don't actually use the service.
I haven't seen it like that, I don't know if we could talk to them maybe about a senior rate.
Okay, maybe we can do that, some type of a senior rate.
We'll have to talk and see if, we probably have to have a separate line on the bid.
Who doesn't have trash?
We have 2 seniors here in the village who, they have, their family comes every day and looks after them, and actually what little bit of trash they do create, they take with them. So it's one less expense they would have to incur, you know, because a lot of them are on fixed income anyway. And, you know, if you're on fixed income from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, a lot of those people are really, really struggling.
Yeah, but that becomes very subjective into who's asking for it. And it's really outside of our realm, that's Rumpke that they have to deal with, or whoever gets the contract.
Right.
It's written that every household has to participate. It's really hard to say that, you know, when you're doing it for the entire village to do exclusions on that. I have seen, you know, where bid packets have provided for different pickups for seniors, like coming to the garage door or something instead of down. But then there was an additional charge to the senior for that, so that was really.
So that
you
didn't
know,
save them any money.
No, it didn't save them any money at all. It was just you know, if they were disabled or something, to be able to have them come up to the house. But that was an additional charge.
Kevin's got something over there.
I just was wondering if we could take a short break before you vote.
We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. Does anybody want to look at this while we're on our short break? Or I'll tell you what we can do. We can come back to this issue here. Do you want to go ahead and read that?
I make a motion, we go into executive session for ORC 121.22G2 to consider the purchase of property.
And
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Roll call, Kevin.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes
All
5-0.
right, we will take a short recess and we will go into executive session. All right, I'd like to go ahead and bring back in session November 26, 2013 council meeting at 8:14. Kevin, do we need to do that in a motion or just bring it back in session?
You just bring it back.
Okay.
And usually you do a roll call vote, so nobody's here.
So we will do that. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson. Here. Ms. Gerber.
Still here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here?
Ms. Krafka.
Here.
Ms. Elliott.
Here hanging.
All 5 are here. Physically.
Okay. All right, I am going to go ahead and read. Back on legislation, Amelia Village, Ohio, ordinance O-2013-57, an ordinance by the council of Amelia Village, Ohio, authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder for waste collection services and declaring an emergency. This time I need a motion to suspend the rules, requiring 3 readings on 3 separate dates.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
This time I need a motion for the adoption of the emergency clause.
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Ms. Krafka.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
All right, that ends our legislation. Thank you all for that. Next order of business is public input. Do we have any public input tonight?
I have something I forgot.
Sure.
Couple things that I wanted to say, so it could be aired. December the 14th, the Amelia police officer going to be involved with the American Legion on the hold up in the street. And that will be at Main Street at Jenny Lynn right there, I guess that's.
Oak Street and Chapel.
Oak Street and Chapel, okay, and Main Street. So we'll be assisting there, and those hours will be between 11 and 3 p.m. We'll also have a car up at the Kroger's lot, and Mike Watulowicz sort of spearheaded this with Kroger's, and we're gonna fill the cruiser full of toys, and that's gonna be in cooperation with American Legion as well. So he'll be up there from 9 to 3, and tentative day will be the 15th, the day afterwards, if we can get somebody to man the cruiser there. That cruiser will be the new cruiser that we have, and it should be here in time for the Christmas parade too. So we can get a lot more stuff and a lot more toys in there.
All right.
And I think that's all I have.
What's it called again? It's just with the American Legion, or is there a name with it?
Yeah, well, we're calling it Fill the Cruiser Full of Toys. And Kroger's has a real nice section of toys there, so there'll be excuses to, and we're gonna hand out flyers and things like that too as they go in, so they'll have a chance to buy. And these will be for the needy families and all that don't have the opportunity to have a good Christmas.
We'll
We're
post
gonna
it on
try
our
to make a
Facebook.
really good Christmas for them.
Yeah, we'll post it on our Facebook.
Great, yeah, it'll be fantastic.
We'll be doing that with Post 773 here in Amelia. And what they do is they do it every year. It's a Christmas for the kids. And they go to all the local elementary schools and they pick families out that are needy. And they get as many toys and they give food and they give clothing for Amelia folks. So it's a great project. And glad that Mr. Patulowicz and David are gonna put that cruiser down there. So hopefully everybody will get out and donate a toy and fill the cruiser.
That's right. That's the second Saturday in December. So.
Yes, sir.
Just two things. First, I wanted to let council know that the loan on the one cruiser, I believe it's number 19, the balance as of yesterday is $1,829 left on that note. Last payment is March 24th of next year. I bring that out in case council would like, clear that note early, wait till March, whatever. The other thing, as I have announced, I will be leaving probably no later than January 4th. I have perhaps stepped over the line, but I have notified the Ohio GFOA and the Ohio Municipal League that there will be an opening. So hopefully that, with the career builder, will get some good response for the village.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Do we need to do that if we wanted to pay that all early in a motion, or do we
It
just?
doesn't really
Okay.
do anything.
It's-
I mean, it's
okay.
just,
It
if
just
you wanna
frees
clear
up-
it from the books, you
Yeah,
know,
that's all.
you're not saving anything. We've already paid all the interest.
Okay.
To just pay in principal. So,
Yeah, the interest on the last bill was, I think, $10.
any other public public input out there?
Public what?
Output, I just said output. Input.
There you go.
Any council input?
Yeah, real quick, I know some of you want to go, but real quick. First thing I'd like, if we could do, is I'd like to see about if we can draw up either an ordinance or how we can go about making, determining a full-time and a part-time mayor and establishing a new pay rate for that.
Do you have any suggestions on that?
I would if we can make it to where the person that is running and or in office now, if they're able to do a full-time mayorship, I guess if you will, you know, that they would be compensated into an amount that we can agree on later, or, and then another one, if their status does not permit a full-time mayor, that they would go to the part-time rate.
Okay.
Because if Derek ran for mayor and has a full-time job, then he could only do mayor as part-time. I'm just using you,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to use myself, but then if somebody didn't have a job and could devote a full-time position, that we could make 2 pay rates for that. Would that be something
Yes.
that everybody would like to see? Have any comments on?
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. The only issue I see is the more than 30 hours issue. Then all of a sudden, health benefits have to kick in.
Whether he's an elected official or not.
I don't know, that's what we have to look at.
Yeah.
That would be my only concern, because,
Yeah, but like, I would imagine because they're elected, I mean, we don't get
yeah, it's
benefits.
just, with certain people, they have to take the health coverage.
Okay,
And if they're retired, they don't want to take our health coverage, they want to stay where they
Right.
are. So that would be one issue that would concern me, is just if they would have.
can we
to
look
do
into that for,
Yeah.
like, around the first year? I mean, if everybody would like to see that, I'd like to, you know,
I think we could do an ordinance setting put them both in the same ordinance in that way.
Okay.
You know, depending, so you wouldn't have to change it every time somebody's elected.
right, that way it's drawn out, it's there, you know, and we can go about that. Then the second would be the, Derek Downer here is gonna squash me like a bug. Is council putting, giving us a little more. I know you, in the finance report that wasn't read, did you guys look into that? It was on there.
And those were employees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that
not,
wasn't-
not.
Did we-
Just employees,
What-
we were gonna look at in January, is
Okay.
what we were doing for employees, but we did not look at anything else on that, so.
I mean, I know you were waiting for like a number. I
Yes.
know you didn't wanna, I didn't know what the rest of council thought, cause I know we just kinda skirted it. But if that's something that, you know, we wanna do the same time that we do the mayor thing, we can do it all at one time. Everybody just don't jump in there at one time.
Well, I know to answer your question a little bit on the part-time, full-time, there's a lot of other entities that do that. Julie pulled a list off from the Ohio Municipal League, and I talked to Bill Gilpin, and it's all over the place. I
Okay.
mean, as far as the money,
Right.
it's, there's no rhyme or reason on,
One mayor makes $15 for a year.
there's no rhyme and reason.
Another one makes over 60, so
Dollars or thousand?
1,000, and their populations are within about 1,000 people of each other.
There's even one in there, a population of 500, and I think the mayor gets 70,000 or something.
Wow. Where do we go? Where's that at? I need to write that down. I need to go
If you're
there.
trying to figure, looking at that, good luck.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
Bill
mean,
told-
I think-
Bill told me the same thing, they tried it up there, tried to compare numbers with that for their staff, and it was really,
I mean,
really
I
hard.
think we've got a pretty intelligent group up here that we could come up with something, you know.
And if you want a copy of that, I can get you a copy of that. So,
On the council thing, anybody got a number?
I thought we came up with something last time, that I think we actually got Derek to be like, no,
Yeah,
it was, we, you know, almost.
What your numbers were, I mean, I guess that's what you have to decide. is
It was
what-
only like $50 more or something like
Yeah.
that.
like,
I remember it just
maybe,
being.
In order
I think
to-
it was like 425 would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah, it was, yeah.
would that be something you would be comfortable with?
My uncomfortableness was with the, what was it, $900?
$600.
Oh,
$600.
no, no,
That you had
and
to
we
make
all,
in order
no,
to
no, I
qualify
think,
that's
for
because
that,
in
so.
order to keep your OPERS and to be paying into it.
right, and we've all,
you had to
we've
be
figured
up
out
to the,
that
what
that's
was it,
not,
600?
600 for full-time
Yeah, so-
status.
but I thought,
We did put a big nace
Four-
on that.
what?
I was gonna ask, when was the last time council had been given a raise? Does anybody
I have no
that
idea.
info?
5 years ago, 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
That was before I got here.
I mean, my thoughts on it are that I want the council seats and the mayor seat to be a competitive position. I want people to want it. And I think that there is a time commitment here, and I think that with that, there should be compensation. And as we grow bigger, we're definitely, each of us taking on more responsibility ourselves. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a justified conversation that we should have. Because like I said, I want this to be something people want to do. And not,
Exactly.
and not look at and say, oh, I can't do that for nothing, kind of thing. So.
And I think we do, I mean, and Derek and Todd can attest to this, you know, being up here the last, you know, you guys more, but I mean, we do more now than we ever did. Ever did. And, you know, again, that's my thought. But if we could do it all at one time, maybe right after the first of the year, then we're all starting, you know, anew.
So just get your numbers together and.
I just told you my number.
No.
Oh, you mean
For him, for
Okay,
what? You got,
okay.
you gotta kind
Okay.
of balance it all.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, next time you guys do a finance, can you, you know, maybe come up
We'll
with?
invite you, Renee.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll let you
Okay,
know.
we'll do
Check
that.
your email.
You can bring the subs.
Yep, it's fine.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. That's all I have. Happy Thanksgiving, Amelia.
Yes. That's what we're saying.
Anybody else got council input?
I got a couple quick things. One, I forgot on the recreation report is to thank Big Tree Plantation. They're donating our live cut tree for our lighting ceremony. And we're also purchasing a live tree to be planted at Spencer Shank Park. So I wanted to get that out there. Stacy was trying to whisper it to me, but since I'm half deaf and can't read lips, I couldn't catch on. Getting there. And then the other thing was, I noticed that we've got a bunch of bicycles up at the Morris House, which I understand our officers have picked up that have been abandoned at the parks. Is there something we can do to kind of get the word out to see if we can find the owners of those and?
That's probably a question for David on those
No,
bikes. Are you talking-
most of the time, the families don't even report the bikes missing.
Okay.
So there's.
So putting the word out there probably wouldn't be.
Well, there would be a bunch of people who would claim them, but.
Yeah, they would be there.
What could we do?
So what we would do was, we would put them on govdeals.com as a bulk, and then yearly, we can get rid of those bicycles.
Could we donate
I
those
do need
maybe
one of those.
to the Legion? I mean, if they're
Do
still
any of them work?
functioning,
Yeah.
is that something that we can,
Well, there's some decent bicycles there.
Let me look into that. I need to look into,
it's just they're sitting and
Who
getting
really
cussed,
owns them
so-
right now is the question.
well, and the whole donation of municipal property is another issue. Because you're supposed to auction.
I think we could have, because we've got those basketball games also.
But if it doesn't have any value, I'll have to look.
Can we sell them?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Like a
dealers.
dollar?
Yeah, that's what he said, that,
You
go
can-
deal.
I mean, no, in all seriousness, could we, sell them to someone for $1? Like the,
The Legion.
the Legion?
Let me research that, because
Okay.
upon reading the statute, it doesn't look like it, but I was gonna investigate it a
Okay.
little further.
If we can do that before Christmas? Get on that.
That's all.
I just want to comment, one time we had a situation like that, and this is where we learned our lesson is with this. This boy's father, it was a junk bike, he went and got it all fixed up, spent over $100 getting this fixed up at a bicycle shop. The boy rode it to a town event, the real owner identified that thing, and we had a big problem with that. So they came back, and even though we were trying to do the right thing, it came back and really bit us. So,
Okay.
I just wanted to put that out there.
We'll talk, I'll do research and I'll get some more information for you.
Okay.
Maybe we can donate them to another state.
On auction, no, on the gov deals, they do come from other states, Columbus and everywhere else get those things. It's not ever from the community, it's from somewhere else.
All right, I'd like to give a big thanks to Team Home Depot, Ray, Doug, and Paul Fulton, who donated $20,000 to our second phase of the Veterans Memorial and laid 11,000 brick. It looks awesome. They've committed to come back this spring to do some more work, so definitely a big thank you to those folks. Also, Danny had brought up to me about the state had found or has some money available for possible projects. Today, Mr. Eaker's office called, he got our letter. He's gonna forward more information for us to fill out, to put into his budget. Doesn't guarantee we'll get it. It said it sounded like a great project, so Danny and I put in for a community center project for a grant for $100,000. So let's keep our fingers crossed that Mr. Eaker goes forward with that, and everybody up there thinks it's a great idea, and we could get that chunk of money, would be great. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. Other than to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. It'll be a nice time. It's a 4-day weekend. Looks like the weather's gonna cooperate after we get through this little bit tonight, so enjoy your Thanksgiving. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 10th, 2013 at 7 p.m. And we will also be holding our second council meeting in December on the 17th. And we will also hopefully be doing our bid opening for our waste collection on the 17th. So we'd like to do that 6:30, just to do the bid opening, for anyone who'd like to be here for the bid opening. And then council will be at 7. So if I don't have anything and nobody else has anything else, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.